what's the number one reason why pay-per-click, also known as AdWords, also known as Bing Ads, which dips into Yahoo a little bit, also known as search engine advertising, what's the number one reason why it fails and goes wrong? It's really important to know what you're doing when it comes to pay-per-click because just like, excuse me, still trying to get over a cold here. Have had a pretty bad cold the past couple weeks. My voice has not been strong, and that is not good for somebody that makes their living off of talking like I do. Sorry about that. Anyway, pay-per-click can be dangerous. It can be like going into a casino and putting, you're giving away your money in the hopes of getting more back. So when it comes to pay-per-click, especially if you don't know what you're doing, it can be very perilous. So it's really important to kind of know what you're doing. Thing with pay-per-click, there's a lot of different reasons why the thing can fail. The other reason why things are dangerous is because in our industry, there can be people out there that are really smart in certain areas, but then not be smart in other areas. You could have people that are brilliant when it comes to web design or SEO or social media, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they know what they're doing when it comes to pay-per-click or search engine advertising. Take, for instance, a guy named Rand Fishkin, who's one of the bigger names in the SEO industry that's out there. He just left his current company, Moz, for instance, but he's still pretty influential. Guy's brilliant when it comes to SEO. He's brilliant when it comes to web design, software. Really, really smart guy. But even with him, he came out with an article recently on the number one reason why he thinks pay-per-click fails, and I really disagree with it. His premise was that pay-per-click ads fail. The number one reason why they fail is because of low engagement. What does that mean, low engagement? Engagement basically means people are seeing your ad on Google or Yahoo or Bing. They see the ad, but they don't click on it. Why does that matter? It matters because Google frowns upon it, and the lower engagement you have, the more they charge you for every single click. So engagement basically means that for every 100 people that see your ad, Google prefers that your ad gets like 5 clicks or 10 clicks. They like that. They'll give you a discount on the cost per click if you get that. But if you have 100 clicks or if you have 100 views and you only get 1 click, they don't like that as much because Google is serving ads. The less time they have to serve your ad in order to get clicks and get your money, the more they like it because then they can just move on to somebody else and then take their money too. Ultimately for Google, they make more money the faster your budget runs out. So basically, the less times they have to serve your ad, the less people they have to see your ad in order for those clicks to happen, the happier Google is. So if you have a higher engagement rate where your ad is going to be more likely to be clicked on, they're going to give you a discount or reward you for that, reward you with a lower cost per click. But if they have to serve your ad a lot, if they have to serve your ad like 300 times and you have to get 300 views before you get 1 click, you better believe that they're going to charge a premium on that click and make you regret that. So that's why the low engagement can be harmful. And Fishkin's premise was that that's the number one reason why paid advertising fails is because of a low engagement, which means companies are having to pay a lot per click, and when you're having to pay double or triple what you should be per click, then you're going to get 2 times, 3 times less the people to your website that you could be. So yeah, that's a big problem, but I don't think that's the number one reason why advertising fails. So you have all these different theories that are out there in terms of what works and what doesn't. I don't think low engagement. So I don't really. Low engagement is a problem, but I don't think it's like the number one problem. The part where I really agree with Fishkin is basically on a solution, where his solution is that his solution and his premise is that, well, you're getting low engagement because people don't know your brand. you're a small business, people don't know you, so you have to spend money on branding before you're going to get a better engagement to where pay-per-click works for you. I totally disagree with the premise. Yeah, branding would get you more engagement. If people did know your company name more, you would get a higher engagement, a lower cost per click. I just don't think it's necessary. You can get a higher engagement rate by doing a bunch of different things. The easiest way to do it is to put an offer, put a promotion, or put a sale in the text of the ad. So when people go to Google or Yahoo and Bing or whatever, and they're doing searches, easily the most the most untapped potential that paid advertising has is these generic ads. Like, do a search yourself, do a search for something that you yourself are a customer of, and look at the creativity in the ads that are out there. There's not much creativity. It's basically, hey, we do this, please give us a call because we want your money. Like, that's like really like what a lot of the advertisements, that's really the creative that you're looking at. If you put in a promotion though, your engagement is going to be a lot higher. If you put in some sort of sale, some sort of deal, you walk into a mall, shopping mall, you're not going to go by a bunch of stores and just see nothing in the window. Like, every single one of these stores has some sort of promotion, has some sort of deal to entice somebody to walk into the store. In the same way, you want your ad to have some sort of enticement, some sort of reason for people to click to, venture into your website. You want the same thing. But all these other advertisements are really vanilla. They're really generic. A lot of people in my industry really haven't gotten into that part of the creative part of having the right set of words on the ad to get people to click on it. So that's the easiest way of doing it. Having a rewards program out there saying like, hey, if you buy from us 5 times, you'll get the 6th one for free. That's going to make somebody more likely to click on it. And then you don't have to spend a bunch of money on branding and, hey, putting our name out there so people recognize us more, so then they're going to click on our ad more. There's different things you can do. You can also, if you don't have an ad promotion or deal or coupon or whatever, you can also change the text of the ad. Another reason why you could get low engagement is it could be that the keywords that you have don't really fit the ad. If you have keywords that are on your list, advertising you as a limo company saying, hey, we do stretch limos, we do party buses, we do, you're targeting like all this stuff. You're targeting airport transportation, you're targeting car service. But if you have an advertisement that's out there that says like, hey, we do the best taxi service around, well, the ad doesn't match the keywords. Somebody looks for a limo and then they see an ad that specializes in taxi service. That's not a fit for them. That's not something that they're really gonna latch on to because they were originally searching for a limo. If you have somebody that's out there that is looking for remodeling and they're typing in different remodeling keywords that are out there, and then you're a remodeling company, you have remodeling keywords, but the ad says like flooring. What if the person's just looking for a cabinet? What if they're just looking for to redo their countertop, and they see that the title of your ad has flooring? That's not a good fit. So I mean, mismatches like that are another reason why there can be a low engagement. There's a lot of different things. When it comes to the text of the ad, there's a lot of different reasons. Locally, if you're targeting a specific area like Dallas, Texas, and in the ad, like you're let's say you have a customer that's based in Dallas, but you're trying to cover the whole metroplex. You're trying to cover as far east as Dallas and as far west as Fort Worth and as far north as McKinney. If that's the situation and you have a customer that's based in let's say Dallas, and then they pull up the ad and the ad says, hey, we're a Fort Worth company, they're not going to want to go through all the traffic to get to Fort Worth. So they're thinking in their head, the ad says Fort Worth, I'm in Dallas, why would I click on your ad? You're too far away. So there's other situations that are like that too, when the ad says that you're based in a certain location that's too far away from the customer. That's another good reason why there could be low engagement. So I mean, for all these different reasons, all these different things could cause your ad to have lower engagement, where you're not having to spend all this money on branding. I love taking people's money. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm a business owner just like anybody else, where I want to take people's money, but for me, it's bad for my business and bad for my long-term money making. It's bad for me if I take somebody's money and don't produce good results. It damages my reputation. It damages our company name and service. That's not something that I want. My job is to make sure that if I take somebody's money, that it's going to be put to good use and my client is going to get something good out of it. So in the same instance, like, I don't want to take people's money for branding when we could fix the problem without them having to spend that money. So then that same money could go back in the normal advertising, where they end up making more customers and making more money, making more profit off of our work. That's ultimately the main thing that I want the most. So going back to the original part of the video, what's the number one reason why I think pay-per-click fails? The main reason is because by default, when you're advertising on Google or advertising on any search engine, Bing and Yahoo too, there's different match types. You have broad match, phrase match, and you have exact match. I'm not really that big of a fan of phrase match. I don't really think it moves the needle one way or the other. So for a point of conversation, let's just focus on broad match and exact match. Exact match means that the search engine is going to advertise you for the keywords on your list, and that's it. Broad match means that you're going to be advertised for the keywords on your list, but also keywords the search engine thinks is similar. So you could have a auto repair shop and you're advertising for auto repair keywords under broad match, and Google sees that and they go, oh, okay, he has auto repair Los Angeles on the list of keywords. Let's also advertise him for a body shop. Let's also advertise him for car upholstery. There's similar things, and it's possible that maybe some business out there does both and does all of them, but a lot of auto repair shops don't do, if they do brakes and if they do engines, a lot of them don't do body work. And a lot of them don't do like the interior, they don't do upholstery, they don't do stuff like that. So for a lot of businesses, they don't, they want to focus on the thing that they do and not all this other stuff. So if you're doing broad match and you don't have the right set of negative keywords, I recommend doing broad match, because broad match is going to get you a lower cost. You think, okay, well, if that's the case, let's just make it simple and just do exact match. Well, you don't want to do exact match, because exact match, the clicks are going to be more expensive. We generally like to do broad match because we do get a lower cost per click. But when you're using broad match, you want to be careful on making sure that you have a lot of negative keywords that are in there. People that are doing pay-per-click themselves, they're trying to do it themselves, or marketers that are just starting out, they're just learning about the industry and how to do it. They don't realize that the default is broad match and they don't have any negative keywords, and then they get people to the website and there's no phone calls, and they go, what the heck, the stupid website doesn't work. And in reality, it's not the website's fault. The problem is that you're getting the wrong people to the website. So the main thing here, and the main number one reason I think pay-per-click fails, is because you get the wrong people to the website. That is essentially like the main headline to my video, getting the wrong people to the website. So you want to, you can use broad match, but you want to be careful. So if you're an auto repair shop and you just do engines, you just do AC in the car, you do timing belts, you do pulleys, you do stuff like that, then you don't do body work, you don't do interior work, you don't work on the door handle, like you don't want that. You want to have a negative keyword list telling the search engines what not to advertise you for, and you want to have on the negative keyword list body work, you want to have body shop, you want to have upholstery, fabric, threading, all that stuff, door handle, door and handle, window, like all the stuff that you don't want to do, you want to have a negative keyword list, but most people don't. And that's the number one reason why the thing fails. So if you're doing pay-per-click yourself, be careful because you might just lose your money. And that's why a lot of people would pay an agency like us to do it for them, to make sure that they do not lose their money.